Hey everyone, Namaste and welcome to the 48th episode of Yoga Shakti with me Shailaja Menon here on this wonderful platform of Anand TV. I hope all of you are keeping safe and well, whichever part of the world you may be watching this from. Now, today I wanted to share with you a very beautiful line from the Vedas. It says, Yatha Drishti Tata Shrishti, and it means as is our perspective, yeah, the eyes or the lens through which we view the world, our drishti, yeah, so is our world. So we literally create our world through our perspective. And this is so in line with what the yoga practice is about, because even to be aware of our perspective, we have to first have that capacity of looking inward. Now, from childhood, we are all only encouraged to look outward and make the outer world our point of reference. And it is only when we step into these kind of spiritual practices like the yoga practice that we are encouraged to make that reversal and look within, look at our own bodies, our breaths, our minds, our mental patterns in terms of our triggers, our reactivities, and understand that actually this is what shapes our world. So instead of always blaming the outer world, we learn to take responsibility of our inner worlds and gain back our power to actually shape our world and create our world in the way that we choose. So let's get started. Today, we're going to work on releasing and opening tight hips because our hips affect our everyday life and activities, right? It makes it very difficult for us to sit or squat, and it also affects our back. So let's get started with that. Okay, to begin with, let's get started with Baddha Konasana. Yeah, so this is one of the most traditional positions for hip opening. So from here, just bring the soles of your feet together. Yeah, so you have to be very careful here. Sometimes, again, if our hips are tight, you might find the knees staying up like this. So you have to be very gentle as you release the knees down. Yeah, so sensing that opening at the hips that happen for your knees to be able to go down. And if you have trouble with your knees going down, just sit on a block. Yeah, so that helps you to kind of find that lift which is necessary in order for you to protect your back. Yeah, and then from here, I'm just going to turn this way so you can just watch. If you feel good, just coming forward. Yeah, so you have to remember not to round your spine. Yeah, so you have to work on keeping the spine as long as possible and just come forward to a point that you're comfortable. Yeah, so from here you can inhale and arch your spine, exhale and coming forward, inhale and arch your spine, exhale and coming forward. So in this manner, using your breath to inch deeper to find your best position. Yeah, so wherever you are is great. That is the beauty of yoga practice. There is no end point. Just sensing your breath, sensing the process of the asana, just allowing your mind to be immersed in the body or the breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Okay, just sensing that deep opening along the hips. And from here, slowly coming back up, slowly rising up. And now, if you want a deeper opening, just move the feet away from you. Yeah, so earlier the heels were close to the body. Now we're doing Baddha Konasana, but the feet are going away from the body, and that increases the work at the hips. Yeah, so again, be very sensitive. You can always stay with the previous position if you find this too hard. Yeah, but place your hands forward and just adjust your position. Yeah, so just move from side to side. Try to get that tilt at the pelvis so that you're not rounding your spine as you go forward. And then from here again, just sense your hips, working with them as you flow with your breath. Exhale and going down. Again, inhale and rising up. Exhale and coming forward. Right, so just sensing. By now you will probably feel, yeah, that beautiful opening at the hips, the rotation outward. Just sensing all of that and going into your best possible position here. Just staying here, focus on your breath, inhale and exhale, and breathe. And slowly coming back up. Yeah, so you have a very nice opening here at your hip. Now to go into Kapotasana, all you have to do is take the left leg back. Yeah, so you have this very beautiful deep hip opening position here called Kapotasana. And the important thing is to ground through that left side as well. Yeah, so if our hips are not open, we find ourselves tilted towards the right side. Yeah, the right butt will be on the ground and the weight will be fully on the right side. Yeah, so as we become more conscious, you can even lift that hip off so that you can really feel this left thigh on the floor, right? And then try to sit up as much as you can. Just sense that beautiful extension to the spine as well as you just stay here and just sense. Yeah, so so many beautiful aspects of this position. Sensing that deep external rotation of the right hip, sensing the flexion at the right knee, while on the left side, the left knee is an extension, the spine is an extension. Just sensing all of that. Okay, and then if you want to go into a twist, you can just release down, bring the right arm across, place your palms in a namaste, and look back. And slowly rising up and coming up. So just changing legs, bring the left knee forward, take the right leg back, right? So similarly, trying to get that line here, try to get that lower leg parallel to the edge of the mat. Yeah, so don't take your heel in unless your hips are very tight. Then, of course, please take your heel in. But if you're trying to work on releasing the hips, you will try to keep the heel away from the hip and try to get this line here of the lower leg parallel to the line of the mat. Yeah, and then again, sense here, how are your hips? Are you fully on the left side? Can you tilt a little bit to the right side? Can you ground through that right thigh? Just sensing all of that. Where is the weight? Just sensing your body. Just finding your best position as you stay here with your shoulders open, your chest open. Beautiful extension to the spine. Opening to the hip, the left hip this time. And if you're ready to go into a twist, then take your left elbow across and find the twist. Okay, slowly come back up and bring the foot back into Baddha Konasana. Okay, so coming onto your hands and knees, and from here, press your toes down, rising up into downward facing dog position. Yeah, so you can always keep your knees slightly bent first, then slowly release the heels and stay. Just enjoying the beautiful release along the whole of the back of your body. Okay, now to work on the hips, just inhale and raise the right leg up, bend the right knee, and just work on opening the hips
Your right knee pointing towards the ceiling. And slowly lift the leg up. Exhale and lower down. And as you inhale, left leg up, bend the left knee, open the hip. Just allow that left foot to drop towards the floor. And slowly lift the leg up. Exhale and lower down. And from here, just step your right leg forward in between your hands, left knee to the floor. Okay, and sense that beautiful release along your hip flexors. Allow the hips to sink down as much as you can. Just holding here, keep your heart lifting. So as you lift your heart, you can actually sense a deeper release along the hip flexors. Holding 5, 4, 3, 2, and then as you exhale, just bring your right arm in and allow both the forearms to go towards the floor. Yeah, so if you have blocks, you can always place the blocks and then keep your forearms on the blocks, use them. But otherwise, you can just release the elbows wherever they may be. And then you just press your toes down, lift the knee off, and just hold here. Yeah, feeling the deep engagement along the back of your legs, the hamstrings contracting, glutes contracting, holding strong. Okay, and then slowly release the knee down and come back up and step back into Adho Mukha Svanasana and step your left leg forward now. Release the right knee down, and from here, just working first, just lifting up as much as you can, feeling the deep release along the right hip flexors. Okay, and then just bend your elbows, bringing your forearms down, right? Just finding the point where you're comfortable. And then press down with your toes, lift the knee off, and hold. And drop the knee down, take the hands back, step the leg back, and release down on your knees. Okay, so from this position, just bring your right leg forward. So when you step your right leg forward, just make sure that your right knee and your right heel are in line. Similarly, your left hip and your left knee are in line. So maintain these lines, yeah. And then if you have blocks, it's very helpful to help you. So you can just release your forearms to the block, and then you can adjust the block according to what's right for you. You can lower it down some more, right? You can release it here, or you feel like you can go deeper, then you can take it out. You can release it down completely and just stay here. Enjoy the position. Yeah, then you feel like you want to bring some length into your spine. You can just straighten your arms forward. Yeah, so that gives a beautiful release to your shoulders as well. Feel the deep opening to your hips, the length to your spine. Okay, and then slowly coming back and changing leg. Yeah, so your left. So noticing here that your left knee and your left heel is in line. Bring your hands inside here and release it down. Yeah, so you can use the blocks as appropriate for you. Okay, and then you can lengthen through your arms as well. Feel the beautiful length to your spine. Okay, and then slowly going back. So from here, Just take your knees back, and we're working into the squat now. So press down through your toes. Yeah, and then see if you can lift your knees up. So here also, just a lot of people have difficulty bringing their heels down. Yeah, so I'm just telling you what I notice with my students. So you can always roll up a mat or a towel and place it below your heels. Yeah, and then you'll find yourself a lot more comfortable, because it's quite uncomfortable being like that all the time. Yeah, see whether you can rest your heels down. Just sit back a little bit. Yeah, sensing your knees. So be very careful about your knees here. Yeah. And then if you want to go deeper into the position, then you try to come forward. Yeah. So don't lift the heels up and come forward, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Keep your heels down, grounding well. Yeah. And then from here, again, blocks are very useful. You can just release your hands on the block. Right. You can stay here quite comfortably as long as it permits you. Right. And then you can go deeper. You can bring your forearms down, or you can go all the way down, right? So that's the beauty of asana practice. There is no must. Yeah, it is what is right for your body at this point in time. You honor your body, bring in the yamas and yamas, ahimsa, satya, santosha, ishvara pranidhana, right? And then the practice shifts from being just a physically oriented practice to a practice through which we sense ourselves as more than just the gross body. We begin to sense those deeper dimensions of ourselves, the dimension of the breath, the dimension of the mind, the intellect, and ultimately of ananda or joy. Okay, and then slowly rising up and coming up. Okay, so just lie on your back and keep your knees bent, feet on the mat. Now from here, we're going to a position called Kapotasana, for which you will bend the right knee and bring the right foot across. So I'm just going to turn my direction a bit so you can actually see my legs quite clearly. Yeah. So you should be able to see this. My right leg across the left thigh, as close to the knee as possible. Yeah, and from here, I'm just going to bend the left knee and draw that left thigh as close to my abdomen or chest as possible. And I'm just going to hold it here. So in this position, become very aware of your right outer hip, because that is where you can find the work. Connect to that external rotation of the right hip. Sense that gentle abduction that happens. Sense the deep flexion of the left knee, of the left hip, as you continue drawing that left thigh towards you. Just holding it here, keeping your attention on that right outer hip. Now, if you want to increase the opening a little bit, you can gently tilt your left leg and your whole body towards the left. Yeah, so as that right foot moves towards the floor on the left side, you can feel an increased opening along the right outer hip. And just hold your attention there. Just sense that opening there. And slowly bring the leg back up. And now if you want to increase the work a little bit more, you can just hold the leg. Place the sole of your right foot on your left upper arm, and then just cradle the leg. Take your right arm across and just hold that right lower leg again as close to your chest as possible. All the while, keep your awareness along your right outer hip. Really feel that beautiful opening there. If your hips are very tight, it can actually be a little painful even. But really trying to sense that subtle distinction between just a stretch and a deep pain. Okay, now slowly release the leg. Working with the left side, just place that left foot across and then draw the right leg towards you. Again, just staying here for a few seconds as you inhale and exhale. Now bringing your awareness to your left outer hip. Just sensing the external rotation of the left outer hip. Okay, being really aware of the right knee, the right hip, sensing the deep flexion there. Drawing that right thigh towards you. And if you're feeling okay here and you want to take it a little bit more intense, you can gently tilt towards the right side, that left foot coming down towards the floor, and just hold it here, really sensing that beautiful deep release along your left outer hip. And slowly bring the leg back up. And now you can work on increasing the intensity a little bit more by just placing the sole of your left foot on your right upper arm, taking your left arm around the knee and just holding it here. Okay, so now we're going to work in another position called Gomukasan, for which you have to try to get the knee one on top of the other. Yeah, so if you look here, I'm just showing this to you in a seated position, so it'll be easy for you to understand when I lie down. Yeah, so this is the position. As you can see, my knees are quite close, if not exactly one on top of the other here. And then just feeling that gentle opening. So the work is here along your outer hips, just sensing all of that. And this is what we're going to do when we lie down as well. Yeah, so I'm just going to do this lying down. So as you lie down, just take the right knee over the left and see if you can hold your feet here. Yeah, and then from here, to increase the intensity, see if you can lift your legs up a little bit. Yeah, so as you do that, feel the work along the right outer hip. And if you want to increase the intensity, like you did in the last position, just gently tilt it towards the left side. So the right foot comes down towards the left side and hold it here. Yeah, keeping your awareness on your right outer hip, just sensing the opening, the release. And slowly bring the knees back up and change. Yeah, so now you bring your left knee over the right. Okay, initially just draw the knees towards you. Okay, and then from here you can hold the feet and see if you can just open it out. And as you do that, you can sense the opening along your outer hips. And then to increase the intensity, just tilt towards the right side. So the left foot now comes down towards the right side and hold it here. And slowly bring the leg back up and release the heels down. Just keep your awareness on your outer hips. You can even, again, just hug the knees here, bring the knees towards you. You can lift your head up and slowly release back down. We've come to the end of the practice and I hope you enjoyed the practice. And please do these practices regularly, at least a couple of times a week.
to maintain that openness and release of the hips, which will really serve you a long way as we go through this journey of life. Our body is the vehicle that we move in, and like the great Guruji B.K. Iyengar says, our body is the temple, yeah, and asanas are the prayer. So we really have to take good care of our bodies, and again, it's not just our bodies. We also, look into take this opportunity to look into our minds, look into our perspectives, see our patterns, our intentions, our actions, see how they're all connected, right? And then ending with the same line that I started. So reminding you that yatha drishti tatha shrishti, right? So remember, ultimately, everything lies in your perspective. Your world you create through your own eyes. Namaste.